All right, we're back. Graveyard Shift Movie Podcast, episode 86. And this week, Thomas doesn't have a camera because it was all blurry and shit. That should be fixed next time. But this week, Maverick picked, and he picked Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City from 2021. Which I think Maverick, they like. Did you watch any of the other Resident Evil movies?
Not that I know of.
I think I might have seen like one once or whatever, but I think this is supposed to be a reboot of the whole series. So
Really? Yeah,
I,
that makes
I'm
sense.
pretty sure. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure I read that. But Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. Uh, and I thought it was all right. I thought it was fun. You know,
It was something.
yeah, like it's not like a piece of art or anything, but it was a fun little watch. I'll give it a six. I'll give it a six for Resident Evil,
Yeah, I'm feeling a
Raccoon
six as
City.
well. Maybe a five. Like a good five is.
In my brain, I had 5.5, but I was like, you know what? Let me just bump it to that six.
No freebies over here.
Oh yeah, you ain't about that shit.
Nope.
um. All right. Well, hey, spoiler warning for Resident Evil. If you've never seen it, we're gonna ruin everything about it. So you've been warned. Um, First off, before we start talking about the movies, have you played any of the games?
Nope.
No, not. I played six, which is always said to be the worst Resident Evil game. That was the first one I ever played, and I played Resident Evil 7, which honestly, nowadays, if they wanted to reboot the Resident Evil series, why wouldn't they just reboot it and make it like Resident Evil 7? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
that game is like just a straight up horror movie. Um, but yeah, and so I think Raccoon City was the fourth Resident Evil game, I want to say. Uh, and often I hear it referred to as the best Resident Evil game. I don't think that this game or movie followed any of the story of Raccoon City though. So that's a decision. But oh no, what happened to the cup? It doesn't have a
It's
fucking
fucked
handle.
up. I think the dishwasher took it out. Yeah,
You got a bully
dishwasher.
dishwasher?
Yeah, fucked it up.
That's fucked up, dude. Um, but anyway, the movie starts off with a lot of la la la's. The music, it plays throughout this whole movie, where it's like la 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 la, and it's just this fucking like creepy kind of lullaby sounding, song.
La 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 la.
There's two little kids sleeping in the same bed. And we'll learn later this is like an orphanage or whatever. You can kind of figure that out very quickly, based on the opening.
Yeah.
But there's two little kids sleeping in bed, and then it zooms in on the little girl's face, and all of a sudden there's a hand reaching out to touch her. And I think it was supposed to sound like bones or something, but to me it sounded like they were like wood clinking together when she was like stretching out her hand. And I was like,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
yeah. But then later you see her a little bit more, and it looks like she has like an old style, like those wooden handcuffs where it's just a wooden piece of wood that they put her
That's
wrists
what it
in.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, was that maybe what I heard doing the wood? But I don't know. The hand sound effects were weird. Um, but it reaches out to touch the girl. She wakes up and the hand like moves back and it leaves. She sits up in bed and she sees a someone or something standing in the corner of the room, staring at her. And apparently, it's not the first time she's been here either, because she reaches over to get her brother to wake up, and says that she's back again. You know, she was looking at us while we were sleeping or whatever. And of course, the brother's like, "Shut up, go back to sleep." You know, he maybe didn't say it like that, but that's basically what he said. The little girl goes to follow whoever this is that's looking at her. She creeps through the empty hallways till eventually she gets to like, it looks like a super young kid's room where they have like the numbered mats on the ground like you'd have in kindergarten and stuff. And there's a little tent of some kind that the person is inside. You hear them like whispering to themselves or something. And the little girl goes up to the tent and is like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know? And the girl looks out, and she looked all fucked up in this beginning part.
Busted.
She was wearing like, what is? She had like a face of a mask on. Wait, a mask of a face, but it was on like the corner of her face, and then she was looking out through the opening. Like I don't know what.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know what this outfit was she was wearing. But this is when you see her hands are like cuffed together. The little girl asks her who she is, and I think she like shows her a picture or something that says Lisa Trevor on it. So she's like, "Ah, Lisa Trevor, huh?" And then the little girl is like, "Where do you live?" And she takes a piece of paper and writes down that she lives down below. And then she runs back into the tent and disappears, which I guess later, I think that's where that elevator was at the end that she shows them to when they're in the mansion, and that's how they get down to the basement. So I guess maybe she took the elevator. I don't know how she disappeared. But the little girl goes in to look for her, and she finds a doll sitting there. And then she gets pulled out by her ankles by like the leader of this orphanage or whatever. Maverick scared the shit out of me. I don't know. I was
Yeah, there's some scares in this one.
I was expecting something to come from the front, I guess. So then when she got pulled out, I was like, "Oh my god." What was the point that you messaged me and were like, "We should watch this"? Because you were like, "I started watching it. It was pretty spooky."
Well, when I said I started watching this, I meant I like 2 weeks ago I started watching it just on a whim.
Well, that's why.
Yeah, not like today.
That's why, because I finished. And I was like, "All right, Maverick, I'm ready to go." And you were like, "I have 40 minutes left." I was like, "What?" Because I had already thought that you were watching the movie. But anyway, yeah, Doctor. I guess you could call him a doctor. I don't know the guy's name who plays him, but he's super famous. And he's in a bunch of shit. He pulls her out. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" You know. And then her brother, I guess, who followed her to maybe make sure she was okay, goes, "Oh, she sleepwalks ever since our parents died." And I was like, "Whoa, that's a lot of information to just throw out there about your, that's private information." And this is where we get introduced to them. That the brother is Chris Redfield and the girl is Claire Redfield. Which, Maverick, that probably didn't really mean anything to you because you don't know the characters, but
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, they're pretty. They've been in some games, if you will.
Okay.
Chris actually shows up at the end of Resident Evil 7. He's in the helicopter that takes Ethan away. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Chris Redfield." He just makes his little cameo. That's literally like their only link in the whole series is because Chris shows up at the end. The doctor takes them back to bed, and as he walks out of the room... Whoa. The doctor takes them back to bed, and on the wall as he leaves, we see an Umbrella poster on the wall. And immediately I was like, "Oh shit," because Umbrella is the big baddie in the Resident Evil games. So immediately I knew something was up here. They start to go back to bed, but the little girl opens her eyes and sees that the doll is on her bed again. And then like the two hands reach out and grab her on the face, and she wakes up screaming. And she's in a truck. and the year is 1998. The year does not matter in this movie at all. I thought they were going to do time jumps since they put up the year, but it's just in the past. I guess that's why they put that up so they can make some like 90s references.
I don't know. I'm sure that it all links together at some point.
Maybe.
I'm sure. I mean, it's establishing a timeline.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. But the only thing that mattered from this is they show you the time, and we'll learn later that the time is like important because it's 6 a.m. The whole city's gonna get demolished. So throughout the movie, they keep popping up. Oh, it's 2:30 now. You know. She's hitchhiking with a trucker on her way to visit her brother in Raccoon City. The truck driver is just blabbing on about something, and then she kind of rude just leans over and turns up the radio onto a different station, and I was like, "This is not your vehicle." It's like,
Well, she's like, "Do you mind?" And then she just turns the radio on.
I
Or up.
guess, you know.
Yeah.
The trucker keeps talking, and eventually he leans over and like grabs her leg, uh, and I assume is going to try to make some advances on her. But then he takes his eyes off the road, and Claire is like, "Hey, look out!" And he turns, and there's a person in the middle of the road, and he hits the shit out of them. He just
Yeah.
clobbers them. They get out to look at her. She's all messed up. The dude immediately starts going, "Hey, it wasn't my fault. You know, she came out of nowhere. All this stuff." Claire says, "I know I know a cop in town who can help us out." What they don't see though is that behind them, the woman is getting back up off the ground. And I will give this movie one thing: I liked how most of the civilian zombies looked. I thought they looked pretty good. When they get into like the CGI stuff, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know about
It
this."
didn't look that good.
No.
Yeah, you are right.
And then when I tell you the budget later on for this movie, you'll be even madder that it will look that bad. But anyway, the woman is waking back up. They don't see it. The dog that the guy has in the truck is like, "Hey yo, turn around!" He's barking and
Yeah.
stuff. The zombie walks off instead of attacking them, which I thought was weird. And the dog jumps out of the truck and goes over and starts licking the blood where the zombie was laying. And immediately I was like, "Oh no," because in the
No
games,
good.
Dobermans are like the zombie dogs, and so immediately I was like, "Uh oh, poor doggy."
Well,
Um,
Fido.
Little Fido, he licks the blood. The trucker is like, "I'm getting out of here," so he goes to get in his truck. Before they leave, Claire turns and looks in the woods, and about 20 feet into the woods, the zombie is just stopped there staring at Claire. And I thought that was a pretty good shot. It was a creepy little zombie staring out through the woods. And then it's the title card. That's the beginning of the movie. We get Resident Evil. We go over to a bar in Raccoon City. Well, first we see the guy wake up in bed, and there's a bunch of Jack Daniels bottles around him and stuff. But then we go to a
Oh,
bar.
they're just beer bottles.
I saw one bottle of Jack Daniels at least, like on his nightstand sitting there. So I was like, "Oh shit." And then we cut over to a bar, and he's like sitting there passed out at the chair. And at first I was like, "This is who they got to play Chris," because the girl says, "I know a cop in town," so I'm like, "Oh, this must be her brother." And they had the same hair kind of style. And because this dude like looks like a hippie. I think they even call him a hippie at one point.
Yeah.
And there's a guy messing with him that's putting like a ketchup bottle on his head. And I was like, this dude looks more like Chris than this guy does. Because Chris is like, a big burly soldier looking dude with shaved head like that looking thing. But we'll learn later that that's not him. And I was glad they changed it up. Also, shout out to the dude who is playing this drunk dude. If you recognize him, however, that's because he was Beck in Victorious.
Yeah, I know.
And I was very
Instantly,
hyped.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, fuck."
And then the guy who was messing with him, who in the movie is called Wesker, was Billy Bones from Black Sails, and I was like, "Oh shit, Billy Bones is in this bitch."
He also played alongside in that Netflix show. about the teen superheroes. I forget what the
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah. Doom Squad or something like that.
No, it wasn't Doom Squad.
Oh.
I cannot remember the name of it.
Oh, wasn't that the one that the girl was in? That's not the girl anymore. I can't remember her name. I would have described her better. Elliot Page. That's her. That's
Yeah,
his name
yeah.
now. Yeah.
I listen. I was just gonna say that one lesbian. Like, I
Oh.
didn't know. Like, I didn't know what else to say.
Yeah, yeah.
But she was in the X-Men. Like, that's all I got.
He Maverick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know
Were
that.
you not here for this whole thing?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's Elliot Page now.
Oh, fuck.
Shout out,
Okay,
Elliot
cool.
Page. Anyway, but yeah, so I have him written down in my notes the whole time as Billy because I I was just like it's Billy Bones. Um, but yeah, they're messing with him. Wesker, I guess I'll call him Wesker since that's what he is in this movie. Wesker puts like a ketchup bottle on his head. He goes over to his group of friends who it turns out they're all cops as well. And he dares the girl in the group. He's like, "I'll give you $1 or whatever if you can hit it off his head." And she's like, "Okay." And then she pulls out a gun, and I was like, "Whoa!" What are you doing?
Yeah, thug man.
Yeah. And they're like, "How about you don't do that?" So then she whips out like a Nerf gun out of nowhere, and she shoots Wesker in the head with a dart. And then she like throws like a quarter or something at.
No, it's the dude pulls out a Nerf gun
Oh,
because he's
okay.
like, "Don't shoot him with the gun, shoot him with this." And pulls it out,
Oh,
and then so she's like, "The bet was $10."
okay.
Well, she's like, "I bet for 20 I could shoot it off without looking."
Oh shit.
So he's like, "Okay, bet." So she shoots him in the head, and then while looking at him, throws the gun at dude and hits him with it.
Uh huh.
And he wakes up and is like, "Yo, what the fuck?"
Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah, because he gets hit with it, and immediately he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like,
Yeah.
"What?"
He is not having a good day.
No, he's not. We'll learn he's like a rookie. He's brand new and stuff, and this is his first day. Um. Anyway, apparently, then a new group of cops comes in, and I think that's Bravo Squad who later goes missing, and they have to find. Um. But apparently, the new dude who they just woke up or whatever shot some dude in the ass in training or something like that, and his daddy's rich, and so he got it like brushed under the rug, and then he had him transferred here. So he doesn't have a good reputation coming in. Everyone just kind of thinks he's like, he's just a rich daddy's kid that's getting paid. That his dad pays people off to get his son into places. Um, Also, then when the cop is leaving, he's like, "Hey, rookie, don't shoot. I'm unarmed." And I was like that's ever stopped a cop before. And they,
Oh, goddamn.
and they,
Goddamn.
and then he leaves. The rest of the group goes to leave, and then the girl who threw the thing at him is like, "Hey, I'm Jill Valentine, by the way." And the dude goes, "Oh, I'm Leon." And I got hype because Leon, I always have a soft spot for Leon because he was the guy I played as in Resident Evil 6, so he was always
Yeah,
my
I was gonna
first.
say I remember Leon from one of the games.
Yeah, he was like my first experience in Resident Evil 6. So I always have a soft spot for Leon. And then Jill Valentine, I want to say might be the main character throughout all the Resident Evil things. I think Claire might be pretty up there, but Jill Valentine always like seems to be a big deal. Um, so I was like, okay. The cops leave. Leon is about to go with them, but then he turns around and talks to the waitress, and he notices that her eye is bleeding. And he's like, "Hey, don't you think you should get that checked out?" And she's like, "It's probably nothing." And then a bird hits the window outside and starts like twitching on the ground. And that's just some classic horror movie stuff. That's the only reason I mention it is the bird hitting the window. That always happens. Um, Also, by the way, if anyone's watching this and is like, Resident Evil isn't a horror movie, this action horror movie is way more horror-y than a lot of the movies we've ever watched on
Oh
the
yeah. Yeah, it
podcast.
surprised me.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit.
which I think was their mission. I think I read that they plan to go more horror and not action, which is kind of like the video games as well. Because 6 came along, it was all action, and then 7 they completely redid it, and it was a horror again. Anyway, we go back over to Claire, and the trucker drops her off. As she gets out and starts to walk away, the dog in the car is whining, and the trucker goes, "Hey, well, you can't be getting sick on me. I don't have insurance, you know." And you look, and the dog is just slobbering everywhere. His eyes have turned a different color.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
Yeah, and he bites the shit out of the trucker on his arm, and the guy's like, "Ow!"
I think he says, "You fucker, you bit me."
He does.
I'm pretty sure he says that.
Claire gets to her brother's house, and she knocks on the door, but no one's answering. As she looks over, there's a little kid next door who's just staring at her, and he has like wisps of hair on his head, like he's almost bald. She waves at him, and he like waves back, but then the mom comes and looks at her and is like, and closes the curtains. Eventually, Claire gets tired of waiting, so she just whips out a pocket knife and picks the lock and gets into the house. She gets in, she finds like some day old pizza or something. She takes a bite, which I was like, "You nasty bitch." It's like,
Yeah, disgusting.
yeah. She looks, and there is a picture on the dude's like bookshelf of himself and the that doctor from the orphanage we mentioned later. Clearly, by the way she's looking at him, she does not like that person. As she's looking at it, her brother Chris comes walking down the stairway. This is when we see it definitely wasn't, Leon at the thing. This guy looks more like Chris than Leon did, so I was happy about that. He goes, "Hey, you don't have any right to judge me. After you ran away, he was the closest thing I had to family and all this shit." He also has a weird line in here where he goes, "How did you get in here?" And she goes, "I picked a lock, And he's like, "That's illegal." And then she's like, "I hitchhiked here." And he goes, "Soliciting a ride? That's also illegal." And I was like, when has hitchhiking been illegal? Like,
I think it is in some states.
Is it? Oh. That's how America used to be. We used to give each other rides. And then we would get murdered. Catch a ride. Anyway, she tells him that something bad has happened here. Umbrella's doing something. The guy's like, "Here we go again." And then she's like, "No, listen." She's like, "This dude I met on a chat room sent me this video or whatever." And she whips out a VHS and puts it into the VCR. And we see this dude who I think I recognized him, but I didn't look up to see if he was in anything I knew. And he sends her this video saying that Umbrella has been poisoning the water supply here at Raccoon City. People are getting sick. They were going to pack up and leave, and they almost would have got away with it. But they had a big leak the other day. And he goes, and I mean like Chernobyl levels. And I was like, "Oh shit, Chernobyl diaries from last week that I did." But yeah, so he's like, "I'm scared what's gonna happen for this town." Chris, of course, doesn't believe her. He's like, "This is more of your conspiracy bullshit, Right after that, we go over and a little girl wakes up yelling in her bed, and I thought this was going to be another flashback, but it ends up being that Umbrella dude's daughter, and he goes in, and she's like, "I saw a monster, and he's like, "Oh, it was nothing." And then the phone rings, so he leaves his wife in there with his daughter to go answer the phone. And he picks it up and he goes, "Hello? What is it?" And then immediately he's like, "We got to get out of here."
Yeah, we got to fucking leave.
Yeah,
and like, oh shit.
They were also, can I just say, I hate it in movies when someone comes in and goes, "We have to leave," like that. No one ever immediately goes, "All right." They always go, "What? Why?" Me, if someone comes in and goes, "We have to go," I go, "All right." Like, I'm not asking questions.
For sure. Out of there.
Yeah, so the wife is like, "Why?" And then immediately the air raid sirens start going on outside, and a loud
shit that could happen in a small town.
Yeah.
Fucking sirens going on.
Well, I guess it's because Umbrella has this big organization there, so maybe that's why they have that. Um, but and then a big message is going out that Umbrella Academy is saying, "Hey, stay indoors, where it's safe and all this shit." Um, and he's like, "Just pack up your things, meet me at the car." We go over, and Chris and Claire are at the front door, and Claire's like, "What is that?" And Chris is like, "It's nothing. I gotta get to the station." So he leaves. Before he leaves, though, he says, "Don't touch my bike." And then he leaves. Claire goes back inside. The weird bitch from across the street is now at the glass door out back, writing in blood on the window, which apparently it said "itchy bitey" is what it said on the window.
Yeah, that's what that said. Yeah.
Apparently that's an Easter egg to I think the first game maybe, where you found a file from a doctor that went crazy, and the last thing he wrote was "itchy bitey" or something like that. But anyway, writes in blood on the door. Then the back door opens up, and she walks over there. She sees that the kid from across the street has crawled underneath the kitchen table, and she's like, "Hey, do you need help?" And the kid says, "No, you need help." And then the mom just hauls ass through
You
the
can
door.
see it in the background. She's hauling it straight through the fucking
Just
glass door. And I was like, oh shit.
yeah. This movie reminded me a lot, Maverick, of the Crazies too. If you remember the Crazies that we
I don't think I watched it.
you did. We watched it when we had to do seat time in school. I made you watch it.
Oh, did we?
Because it was the same thing. The water was poisoning people, and they were going crazy. Remember the scene of they're at the kids' baseball game, and then some guy comes walking in the outfield with a shotgun, and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah, I think I remember. They were like, what the fuck is he doing?
yeah." But anyway, yeah. So the mom comes in. She jumps on Claire. Claire manages to kick her off, and she runs out the door. And then she immediately breaks her brother's only rule when she jumps on the bike. And unless I missed it, did she grab a key inside, or was the key just in the bike, ready to go?
It was so convenient.
Yeah.
Because she goes outside, immediately knows where the bike is. The garage is already open, and there's a light on.
Yeah.
The bike is just sitting there with the helmet on it. She just cranks it up and rides out.
She
like,
does.
what police officer leaves his shit like that?
Yeah, can I just say, one of my problems with this movie is Claire does all this shit throughout the movie, and whenever people question on her, she just keeps going, "Oh, I was on my own. I had to learn." That's just like the laziest writing to me, is they just say, "Oh, I had to learn quick." Like, why did you have to learn to expertly use firearms and ride motorcycles? I wish there would have been like some flashback or just something showing us, or a little bit more explanation.
There was a lot of lazy writing in this, but I think what made up for it was the scenes like when homegirl's running through the glass. Like, those scenes made this movie better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, the lady steals the bike. The chief of police calls a meeting for Alpha Team, is the team that Chris and Wesker and Jill Valentine are all part of. There's also another dude who I never caught his name, and there's a helicopter pilot here.
I don't think he mattered.
Yeah, he didn't. He was there for one reason, and that was to get chewed on. That was about it. As they're having this meeting, Leon comes walking up, and he's standing there, and he's only there for like a second, and then the chief is like, "What in the fuck are you doing up here?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "You called everyone to the meeting." He's like, "Not you." And they just started yelling at him. He's like, "Go down to the lobby. What if someone comes in?" Basically, the chief tells everyone that they have to go to Spencer's mansion to look for Bravo Team. Bravo Team went missing over there, and he wants to figure out what's going on, why these sirens are going off, all this shit. So he tells everyone to gear up. As he does this, Wesker goes to his locker, and he has some type of device in there that tells him everything he needs to know is on this device. And then when he clicks over, it says the Raccoon City will be destroyed at 6 a.m. So that's our timeline.
I want to mention, this is like, what they say, the 80s or the 60s?
98.
90. Oh, was it 98?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Homeboy had a pager.
He did.
And then the next scene, he gets a fucking cell phone almost. touchscreen with a fucking from Umbrella Corp. I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
No, I think
So they're
it's
like
from
way ahead.
it was from whoever is trying to bring down Umbrella Corp.
Oh,
Hey, by
I
the
thought
way,
he was working for Umbrella.
did you watch after the credits to see if there was anything there?
Yeah, Homeboy is back.
Oh, the guy, yeah. I didn't go there, right? And then when I was looking, apparently in this movie, and unless it was at the end of the credits, there's a character named Ada, who's like this Asian lady, and she always wears this
Yeah.
red dress. But in this movie, apparently she's wearing a trench coat. I don't know if I missed her or she was at the end of the credits. But that lady is who supposedly sent that, or is in charge of that group that sent the device that has the stuff on it for Wesker, because she's all about like bringing down Umbrella. Even though I think she does wind up being a villain at one point too in the game, so that's a whole thing. Um, but anyway, yeah, it says Raccoon City will be destroyed at 6 a.m. That's another thing. So that's why the time keeps popping up in this movie. Um, the head Umbrella dude is is
You hear Cameron in the other room?
oh
This
no,
motherfucker. No, I didn't pick that up.
he's just living life over there.
He's living life.
Yeah, yeah.
He just what the fuck?
He's buzzing the nut. Um, the Umbrella dude, we go to him. He's driving through the street. He's driving super fast. We can't see the street. We can only see his face and like the daughter and everyone who's sitting in here, and they're going, "Come on, you gotta slow down. You know, you gotta slow down." And the dude's like, "They want me to leave. They think I'm gonna leave my life's work." You know. And then the people are like, "Stop!" And he stomps on the brakes, and we see that he almost hit Claire, who's in the middle of the street on her bike. She lifts up her visor on the bike helmet, and her and the Umbrella dude make contact or eye contact.
Eye contact for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Yeah, we get a flashback of them coming to get her in the middle of the night, and saying they have a new family for her. They say that we'll bring your brother too. We wouldn't ever split you up and stuff. And then eventually, like, the guy comes back to his senses and he pulls away. Throughout this movie, I think we go back to that scene 2 or 3 more times where it gets farther and farther. Never once did I feel like that scene paid off, Because eventually she just gets into the room where Lisa Taylor Trevor was, and then she just breaks free and runs away. And I was like, is that it? Is that her escape? Like, I never felt like that had a big payoff at that whole sequence.
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
I think it shed some backstory though, so I mean that's something.
Yeah. The guy leaves. Claire looks over and sees the waitress from the diner or whatever, who's a full zombie now, standing there. Then the truck drives by, and we go in the truck and we see that the truck driver is a full-on zombie now.
We'll turn into one.
Yeah. And he's just flooring it. We go over to Leon, who's at the front desk of the police station, and it zooms out, and this is like a mansion police station. I was like, why is it so
It's
big?
huge, equipped with like a metal front gate
Yeah.
and like walls, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Apparently in the game, they say that this used to be an old museum that they turned into the police station, so that was the explanation. But in this movie, they give you it's just a huge police station. He's sitting at the police station. We see out in the distance he's listening to music and he's like asleep or whatever. We see out on the road heading straight towards them. The truck is just flooring it. Eventually, like right before it gets to the gate of the police station, it flips over, comes to on its side, and just blows up or whatever. This does not wake up Leon that I call bullshit on, because
Well, he wasn't even asleep. He was just listening to music with his eyes.
yeah, and I mean that you would have felt that heat. I mean, that's
Well, I mean, dude's sitting there with the fucking old ass
Yeah.
headphones, and like he doesn't hear this truck flip over and
No,
explode.
no. Um, Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that when they were having that meeting, there's a line where when they show Wesker get a page, the chief is like, "Oh, you gonna go on a new date?" And then he goes, "You gonna go to Blockbuster and rent a movie?" And I was like, "That's only in here to show you that it's still the '90s, you
It's
know?"
old,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, the truck blows up. We go and Leon's still there, listening to music, and then the music he's listening to, it eventually goes to where it's loud enough to where it's just in the movie, like it's in the soundtrack, and the truck driver comes walking in on fire, just walking,
dude, holy
and
fuck.
I really like that. That might be my favorite part of the movie when we get to best of, worst of. And he comes walking in on fire. The music's playing. He gets almost right up to Leon, and then the chief of police is on the staircase and pops him in the head and kills him. This is finally what gets Leon to wake up and be like, "What's going on?" You know. The the chief of police goes, "You might want to put that guy out, and you might want to close the gate. There probably are others, you know." Which I don't know how the chief of police figured out
Yeah,
what was
just out of
happening so
nowhere.
fast. Yeah, because that was the first instance, I think, unless he knew something else. But yeah, so he tells him to close the gate, and so Leon does. He closes the gate. It's this big metal gate and this like cinder block wall outside, and they put this big bar there to lock it. He goes back in. He starts questioning the chief. He wants answers about what's happening. But the chief is just ignoring him. He's just packing up his shit. He's getting ready to
Yeah, the
leave.
chief is packing up the box that everyone has when they quit their
Yeah,
job.
yeah. He even at one
Throwing
point,
everything in.
Leon's
leaving.
like, "Well, who's in charge?" And he goes, "You are, rookie. Congrats on the promotion."
I think you'll do well.
Yeah,
He's like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Puppy dog.
He does though. He throws one more dig in there where he's like, "I'm sure your father would know that his worthless piece of shit son amounted to something." And I was like, Jesus. Anyway, this is when I thought maybe that the whole group of police like were figuring out and they were all about to leave. But then we go and they're in the helicopter. They're heading to their mission. So it was like the chief just sent them out and then was gonna leave. And I was like, oh man, that's kind of
Yeah, I didn't get his like I didn't know where he was coming from. I don't know if he was just scared of whatever was going on. I don't know how he knew what was going on.
Well, like I said,
he was just like, you know what? Leaving.
Yeah. Like I said, the first instance he saw this was that guy on fire. And I get maybe that's alarming, but that's the only thing he saw that we've seen him that we know he knows. So it's like, is that what caused him immediately be like, I'm out of here? But anyway, yeah, they're all in the helicopter. They're on a mission to find Bravo Team. Also, there's a whole thing going on that I haven't mentioned because it doesn't really matter a lot in this movie, where the Chris Redfield has a crush on Jill Valentine, but Jill Valentine is mostly into Wesker. So that's a thing going on too. They get out in the mountain area. I don't remember what the name of it was. They said it, but it doesn't matter. They find the police car turned over on its side, but it's empty, so the Bravo team isn't in there. They go up to Spencer's mansion. I thought maybe this is where the Umbrella Academy. Wasn't that the name of that show you were saying he was in?
Yeah,
Holy shit. They go up to Spencer's mansion, which I thought was where the Umbrella dude was staying, but I think this was a completely different place. I don't know. It's just a mansion. I think this might be where the first game took place, honestly. Spencer's mansion.
Well, apparently they said in the movie that Spencer was the dude who created Umbrella, right?
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, when they go in here, they split up in groups to go find everyone, and Jill chooses to go with Wesker, and you can see for a moment that Chris is like, oh, But anyway, in a minute, when they turn the corner, they eventually come across a zombie eating one of the Bravo team members. And that scene where he turns around and looks, that is like the first zombie you ever find in Resident Evil. That's the scene. So I think like the Spencer's Mansion is the location of the first game. But that's in a second. Before that, we go back to the chief of police, who gets to a roadblock, and the army or Umbrella, I think it was Umbrella, isn't letting people out. And the guy's like, oh, what is this, you know? So he starts to back up, but the car comes in after him, and he can't get out. All these people go up to the Umbrella people, and they start complaining, why aren't they letting them through? Eventually, it boils over until Umbrella just starts shooting everybody. And the chief has a part I like here where he goes, oh, god damn.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, oh fuck.
Yeah. He starts backing up. I thought
Bullets
this
are
was
flying.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be the death of him, but he manages to get out. I thought for sure he was going to die here in this scene.
Yeah, some random fuck comes up to his window.
Yeah. He's
and
like,
is
let
just
me
like,
in.
Let me in. Let me. He's like, you crazy fuck.
He's
go
like, get
away."
off my car.
Bullets are flying. There's bullet holes in his windshield, and I'm like, how a bullet yet? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, he manages to back out of there and
Yeah.
get away.
Yeah, he gets out, and then he immediately just goes back to the police station, and his ride's all messed up and shit. As he gets out, he starts to hear, like, something in the parking lot that he's in, like, getting closer. His gun is not in his holster, though. It's in the car. So he runs to the car, and it's empty, so he has to, like, load the bullets, and it's a revolver, so, you know, he's having to turn the shit and put all the bullets in. As he finally loads it, the Doberman from the truck jumps up into the other window, and he's like, oh my god, he fires off 2 shots, but then the dog disappears. They go for a little bit of, like, hide and seek of him trying to find the dog, and the dog, like, lurking and shit. Eventually, the dog manages to get him against a wall, and the guy is out of ammo because he's fired off shots every time he hears a sound. And it looks like he's about to kill him, but then Claire shows up and beats the dog to death with a fire extinguisher, and saves the police chief. When they go back into the police station, we see a bunch of people at the gate trying to get in. I really like the shots of all the people at the gate trying to
Pretty
let
good,
us
yeah.
in, you know.
And these weren't like they're. I would consider them zombies, but they didn't look like you're one of the mill zombie.
Leon, when they're standing there, Leon goes, what's happened to them? And the chief goes, clearly some bad shit. And I was like, yeah. Like, in this instance, I don't think you need an explanation of what's happening. You just know whatever it is isn't good. We should probably just get out of here, you know? Back over to Alpha Team in Spencer's mansion, and Wesker and Jill are in this room. We see that Wesker, on that device he got, if you look when they're walking, he's using it as a map of the mansion, and that's straight up video game shit. And I was like, oh shit, look at that. He's using the mansion map. This is when I say they turn the corner, they find the guy eating Bravo Team, and he turns around. They kill that guy. The no-name guy, who I said we don't know his name, goes walking into the other room. Chris stays with the Bravo Team, and he's like, you're gonna make it, dude. And I was like, his whole neck is chewed out. What do you mean he's gonna make it? And so he dies, like, immediately. He doesn't stand a chance. The no-name guy, I thought it was the helicopter pilot at first, but it ends up being a completely another dude, so I was like, I have no idea who this guy is. He goes into a room. He gets jumped by 2 zombies. Chris gets jumped by 2 zombies. The no-name guy eventually fights off those zombies, and it looks like he might get away, but then he's just swarmed by like 7 or 8 zombies. And
You know who he remind me of?
Who's that?
One of the guys from
My
Letterkenny. No. I don't know if you watched Letterkenny at all.
I don't think so, no.
Oh, yeah. Remind me of one of them.
Okay.
Like, it's 100%. Like, I swear I was like, oh, fuck. It's that guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was or not.
Yeah. Yeah, so he gets swarmed and killed. Chris manages to fight his couple off, and he runs away. This is when I realized it wasn't the helicopter pilot, because then right after that, we go out to the helicopter, where the helicopter dude is sitting there listening to and I said, hey, yeah, 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 yeah. And,
Yeah.
that song, which 2011 memers will always remember is the He-Man song, where He-Man is singing it in that fucking wild video. Um, but he's chilling, listening to music, and then a zombie
Cedar
breaks
Rapids.
in. Yeah, Cedar Rapids. Vote. Pokemon, go to the polls. No wonder that bitch lost. Goddamn.
Fucking cringe.
Zombie breaks in, grabs him, kills him. That's about all there is to him. Also, I will mention now that the chief of police, his whole plan with Leon and them was we got to go get to the helicopter guy because that's the only way we're going to get out of here. So then the helicopter guy dies, right? Right after that, Wesker gets on the piano and he sees like how he's supposed to play it, and he plays his little jingle, and a side door opens up in the wall.
I aspire to have one of those one day.
It'd be pretty sweet.
But mine's gonna be a guitar, and you gotta play the solo to "Sweet Child of Mine."
Yeah.
It opens up.
It opens up, and it opens up just in time because Jill, who's looking out the window in this room, she sees something going on with the helicopter, and she's like, "What is he doing?" And then I guess the zombies, or I guess it was the helicopter pilot who turned into a zombie or something, He just flies the helicopter into the room.
Yeah, what a random fucking. He was sitting there in the helicopter listening to music, right? And then
Yeah.
the zombie ate him.
Yeah.
So then he just flies into the house.
Yeah.
As a zombie. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. And second of all,
yeah.
helicopter windows are a little bit stronger than the human fucking bones. Like,
Yeah.
how did the zombie break through the glass?
But they're weapons now, Maverick.
Yeah, they're weapons apparently.
Yeah.
Wild.
Fucking yeah. So and then Jill sees this. She grabs Wesker and manages to like get them inside of that other room so they don't get the blast of the full blast of the helicopter. So immediately the plan that the chief had is out the door. The helicopter guy's dead and the helicopter is destroyed. So obviously he doesn't know that, but we know that. And so it's like, all right, well that's something. Good one. As they're gearing up to leave back with Leon and them, they hear some voices that coming down from what is the like holding cell at the jail right now. And Leon goes down to check on it and ends up being the dude from the video chat that sent Claire the video. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, look at this guy.
Locked up. Why don't they just kill him? Like, why won't they just...
Well, yeah, like,
I don't understand.
He says that he was arrested because he figured out what was going on. But then it was like, well, who brought him in,
Yeah, because the cops obviously didn't arrest him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's in here with another dude in his cell, and that dude is not looking good. And Leon...
He's coughing and hacking.
Yeah, Leon goes, is he all right? And the guy looks at him, he goes, oh, him? Oh, yeah, he's real fine. He's coughing up blood, just a natural cold, He's like, of course he's not fine, you dumb fuck.
Yeah.
Everyone's just so mean to Leon in this movie.
Such a nice, lovable guy.
Yeah. He's like, you gotta get me out of here. And Leon's like, I don't know, And then I don't remember how he got Leon to come closer to him, but the dude ends up just taking Leon's gun. And I was like, come on, Leon.
He does. Yeah, he just snatches it.
Yeah. And he points the gun at him. He's like, go get the key. It's in that desk over there and unlock me. And then Leon's like, you don't have to be such an asshole about it. Like, he goes to get it. The whole time, you see in the corner, the guy is like turning into full-on zombie now, and he's standing up. But the dude doesn't really notice it at first. He's like, come on, get me out of here, Leon gets the keys, and the first one doesn't work, like the second one doesn't work. And eventually, he finally gets the right key, and he opens it up. But of course, the zombie grabs my man's down in the cell and chews on his neck and kills him.
Yeah. Gets him right in the throat, man.
Yeah, I was sad. The zombie then grabs Leon and gets him like down on the desk and is about to eat him. But Claire comes down and shoots the zombie a couple times with the shotgun. Then she sees the guy dead in the cell, and she's like, "Oh no, not you!" Also, I thought it was kind of
The
obvious.
random dude I talked to over the internet.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. I thought it was kind of weird that obviously they don't know the rules. I don't think yet, but they just leave him, and I was like, "You should have shot him in the head. He's gonna come back,"
Yeah.
But it's whatever. She tells Leon to get his shit together, and then she leaves. As Leon's about to leave, he notices that the zombie is getting back up in the corner, and so he just unloads a full clip at it, and eventually, like, his last shot gets him in the head and kills him. It reminded me of that meme that you sent me the other day, where it was like, I get headshots because I have precision aiming. You get headshots because you can't control your fire.
Recoil. Yeah.
But yeah, and he kills the zombie. We go back to Wesker and Jill, and Wesker's like, "Oh man, you saved my life," and Jill's like, "Don't mention it." And then this is where Wesker tells her that he's getting paid by some group to expose the Umbrella Corporation. He goes, "This whole town's gonna get destroyed at 6 a.m. All this shit." He goes, "I had to, get out of here, get out of this miserable life or whatever." And of course, she's like, "You were gonna leave us behind or something." The weird thing is, they kind of make it sound like he was a bad guy here, and I was like, in nothing he was doing did it seem like he was a bad guy. Like,
Until he started killing people.
that was fine. I didn't care about that. The one dude is clearly a bad guy. The wife ends up pulling a gun on him. That's just, reasonable cause. Now, we won't. I mean, the little girl, we don't know what would happen there. But hey,
I'm
Afghanistan.
Sure,
Yeah,
would have been fine.
fog of war. But
God.
yeah, I don't get, because I don't know if he was going to just leave them and not tell them what was going on or what his deal was. Apparently, his whole mission is he's supposed to get the G virus. There's like the Z virus, I think, and the G virus. It's two different viruses, and he's supposed
I
to
don't know
get
shit about none of that.
he's supposed to get the G virus and take it back to the group, and they would give him a bunch of money, and they would expose Umbrella. So anyway, also this is when the girl's like, "We got to go get Chris," and Wesker reaches for his gun, and he's like, "I can't." And then he shoves Jill to the side, and he shoots the helicopter zombie in, like, the face. And then the helicopter zombie on the ground, Maverick, looks up at him, and I don't know if it just gives him the stupidest looking zombie face I've ever seen in my life when it's down on the ground. And Wesker shoots him in the head and kills him. Wesker leaves. He goes down this big hallway that the door opened up, and Jill goes to find wherever Chris is. People back over to the police station. People burst through the gate. The chief says they need to get to the mountain where Alpha Team and them were. They go like down some staircases and get outside. They end up going to the orphanage that the girl grew up in. That's his passageway that he has. As they're walking, Leon sees Lisa Thompson. That's not her name. What's her name? Lisa Trevor standing there, and he's like, "Hey, can you guys come over here?" And once they do, the lady's not there anymore. And Leon's like, "I'm telling you, I saw someone." And if anything, I was thinking, well, Claire should know what's up. I mean, she's been through the same thing at this orphanage, Before she can say anything, though, the chief behind him gets grabbed by a tentacle. And he gets taken up to the taken up to the ceiling and dropped down, and he's just all torn up and he's dead. I thought the chief death was kind of lackluster, seeing as how he survived earlier what you thought he should have died in, and then he just kind of gets killed randomly like that. But it's whatever.
Yeah, it was a little lackluster.
Yeah, this thing jumps down. It's like this 4-legged monster looking thing. It chases them both down the hallway. Eventually it gets on top of Leon and is about to kill him, but then Lisa Trevor shows up and manages to like wedge her handcuffs into the thing's mouth and somehow kill it somehow. I don't know how she killed the thing.
She's a weapon.
Yeah, this is when I noticed Maverick. I dropped my phone. This is when I noticed that when she shows up and now she's saving them, was it just me or did it seem like she looked much more human when
I don't know. You can't really tell.
This like last portion, like her face didn't look as messed up in the thing.
Her eyeball was a weird color. She was wearing like human skin.
Yeah,
She was on some hills have eyes shit.
she was. It reminded me a lot of The Hills Have Eyes, but um, but yeah, to me it looked like before when she was in the, they like made her look meaner, and now that she was saving people, they made her just look like a person in like a weird mask. Um, she shows them the way to that elevator I mentioned earlier, and they end up, they can go down now. She stays behind. She can't leave, I guess. I don't know what the fuck is up with that. Uh, Chris is in the mansion still. He's walking around. He kills a couple zombies. Eventually, he winds up just in the dark, and he's just like shooting zombies, stabbing zombies in the head. Uh, and then he like pulls out a Zippo lighter, lights it, sees one of the dead Bravo members. That then he wakes up. I think it was the Bravo member who said, I'm unarmed, don't shoot at the bar. I think that's who it was that was waking up here. He flicks it, sees him, and then Maverick, like, it would go out, and the sound would go out when it would go dark, too. And I was like, that's not how it works, Like, every time he would flick it, the guy would get closer, and then it would, like, and then it would go out, and the sound would be gone again. And
Yeah.
I was fine with like the flashing on and off, but the fact that the sound kept going off with it, I didn't like that. But anyway, the guy crawls towards him. They do a fake out where you think he's gonna come from his face, but it ends up coming from like the side, and there's another zombie there. It looks like he's about to die, but Jill ends up coming out and saving him. She tells him that Wesker was gonna leave him. He betrayed us. Once again, I was like, I don't think he really betrayed you. He was just gonna get this virus and sell it for money. Seemed like a fairly reasonable request. Claire and Leon wind up in like this basement area where they find a video of Umbrella experimenting on these like twins. She's like, this is where they were gonna take me, Wesker eventually gets down to the bottom, and the main Umbrella dude is here. On the table, he's experimenting on a zombie that I think was the neighbor from next door, is what it looked like.
No, I don't. It did look like, I'll give you that, but I don't think it would have been. There wasn't enough time, right?
I mean, realistically, it wouldn't be possible for her because she was at the police station. But it definitely looked like her. I don't know if this is just how all the zombies look or what the deal was, but yeah, he has her on the table. He has her cut open. Wesker
still alive, like squirming around.
Still alive, yep. Wesker is like, hey, I need that vial. That's all I want. Give me the vial, The orphanage dude, or the Umbrella dude, is like, okay. But then we see he has a gun right there. And so he reaches for the gun, turns around, he shoots Wesker in the stomach. Wesker has a bulletproof vest on, though, so it still, like, I think goes through a little bit, but it doesn't hurt him that bad. And he fires off 3 rounds and hits the Umbrella dude in the stomach. This is when the Umbrella dude is laying there dying, and he's like, hand me the vial, Wesker comes back out. He's like, hey, give me it, just give me it, and we can go about our ways. This is when the wife turns around, also has a gun, and Wesker pops her in the head. Once again, I was like, I mean, she was pulling the gun on him. That seemed reasonable,
He was like, don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
And she turns around and tries to cowboy.
Yeah.
And he's like, you dumb bitch. I
told you. He goes over to Wesker, or not Wesker, he goes over to the Umbrella dude. He's like, look at what you made me do, The Umbrella dude smiles at him, and then we see he has a needle in his hand. And his daughter is like hiding in another room. So Wesker goes looking for her, and eventually she pops out, and now she aims the gun at him, and Wesker goes to turn and point the gun at her, and then he gets shot, and he notices that where he got shot from, it was Jill who shot him. And so Jill's here, he falls down. Once again, he's like, you and that fucking gun, She immediately, though, starts going, oh, we'll get out of here, And he's like, no, I'm sorry I betrayed you guys. And I was like, once again, I don't think you did anything that wrong. he then tells the little girl, he's like, I wouldn't have pulled the trigger, and I was like, I don't know about that, but
Yeah, I don't. Would you, Tom?
Yeah.
If a little, yeah, I think I probably would have popped that love.
yeah, uh, these are all hypothetical situations that will not occur, but you know,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anyone's holding the gun to you, I mean, you should have every right to shoot.
yeah, I
If you
went
have a gun
through
as well.
Detroit herbal survival training. um, but anyway, yeah, Wesker is like, I'm sorry. He apologizes to the other dude, who it was then I realized, oh yeah, he just killed the guy that's supposed to be like his father figure, you know.
Yeah.
And so and then Wesker dies. As they leave, we see the Umbrella Dude start turning into a ultra mega zombie. But then when he eventually comes out, Chris sends Jill and the little girl away, and then he hides in a room. The guy only his right arm is a zombie. Everything else of him is normal. He just looks like messed up, and so he's got like one big arm.
He was like slowly turning into.
Yeah.
But yeah, if at that specific point, it was just like one.
Uh-huh.
His arm was like giant. And there's a bunch of eyeballs on it.
He's shit talking Chris. He's like, I can't believe you're so dumb when your sister's so smart and all this stuff.
And telling him he was never part of his family.
Yeah.
And it's like flashback to the beginning of this movie where dude was like, he was like a father to me. Like,
yeah. Eventually, he finds Chris. Chris tries to shoot him, but the guy just grabs him by the neck and puts him up against the wall. He's right about to kill him, but of course Claire shows up and shoots him with a shotgun a bunch of times. He's laying down on the ground. He's like, do it, you know. Claire goes to shoot him, but then the brother takes the gun from him and goes to shoot him, and the guy's like, my boy. And the Chris is like, shut the fuck up, and shoots him in the head. And I was like, I guess. But in the meantime, I was like, I feel like Claire should have got that kill. But, you know, it's whatever. Claire, Leon, and all of them go to leave. As they leave, we see the Umbrella's other arm start to get bigger. And you're like, oh, shit. They end up getting on an underground train that they have.
yeah, apparently, dude knew about a train that they had.
Yeah.
Underneath.
They get on this train. They start to get away, but then it turns 6 a.m. and the tunnel, the mansion caves in. The tunnel starts to cave in, and it like wrecks them. And then the Umbrella Dude is here, and now he's a big old monster. He's a big old Resident Evil final boss monster. This gave me flashbacks because Resident Evil 6, you fight the same boss like 7 times, and the final boss is on like a train. And so I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Jill ends up like stabbing him in his little face that he has underneath his big monster neck. And she stabs him there. We see Chris unload a magazine, and he shoots him in the eyeball on the shoulder, which that's always a video game. So whenever you see a bunch of eyes on someone, you start shooting them.
Eyes, and then he had his human face.
Yeah.
On his like chest. Which I think it was a good take, like a really nice take on like a zombie boss. I don't think I'd consider that a boss or zombie, but
no, that's just like a beast. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know what I would consider, just a monster.
Yeah. Yeah, so they shoot him a couple times. Chris runs out of ammo. And they're like, oh shit. But then my boy Leon comes through to finally I knew Leon had to get something in here. Like he was just getting shit on so much. And he comes in and he has a rocket launcher. And he's like, take this, you ugly motherfucker. And he shoots a rocket and blows up the monster, which, I mean, if you play Resident Evil games, one rocket isn't going to kill a fucking... but it's whatever.
Doesn't he say RPG, motherfucker? I swear he said...
But yeah, he blows up the guy. After that, we cut out to the outside, and immediately, like, you see an explosion or the like tremors start to go in the distance of like the city caving in, and there's a cow in the front of the screen, and immediately I went, no, not the cow. out loud in my room. And sure enough, the cow gets like whooshed away in the explosion. I was like, no. Um, and then to end the movie, we get like a official umbrella thing that says like Spencer Mansion destroyed, and then it says total civilian survivors 0. But out of the tunnel comes walking Jill and Chris and Claire and Leon
The
and,
little
and the
girl.
little girl. So, which is good because that kind of shows that they don't know they lived. You know, it's not like they're still going to be looking for them or whatever. And that's the end of Resident Evil Raccoon City. Also, there's a part, like I said, I guess Maverick, there's the guy comes back to life at the end or whatever after the credits.
Yeah, he's in like a morgue or something, and he wakes up, and then there's that chick there that I forget her
Okay.
name.
Ada, yeah.
I thought it was nothing wrong. Hey, who?
I just did a hey ho. Anyway, yeah. So that's Resident Evil Raccoon City. This movie had a budget of $25 million. And that was the best they could get their CGI to look on some of those monsters. And I was like, all right, well, you know. I was like, I feel like we've seen a lot better monsters on a lot lower budget, but whatever. Made a box office of $38 million. So didn't do
Damn.
too good. Which I remember, I think the release was weird on it. I don't remember the whole thing about it, but I think maybe it like came out on HBO at the same time too, maybe, and in theaters. But I'm not 100% on that, but that's what
I didn't hear shit about this movie coming out.
I remember. The only reason I remember hearing it coming out, didn't hear anything about it again, and then I watched like that Moist Critical dude, and he was ranking like the worst movies of the year, and that was one of the movies that people had said, but he was like, I enjoyed it way more than a lot of these other movies, so it wasn't on the list.
Yeah,
But that was the
I
only
would
other
not
time I
consider
got.
this a bad
No, I wouldn't at all. Like, it's just a fun little fucking zombie action movie.
Yeah, if they made like a trilogy or something out of this, I'd be cool
Oh,
with
trust
it.
me, there'll be more.
Yeah.
I think there's.
Well, I want them to line up.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's maybe, I don't remember how many they made already. But yeah. Let's do best of, worst of. My best of, I think I'm gonna have to stick with what I said would probably be it, which is the trucker walking into the police station on fire. Like it was just
yeah, I was gonna pick that too.
hey, you
It
still
was pretty
can.
good.
But it was cool as shit. Worst of, I'll probably say the whole flashback sequence of them like taking her to the room. Like I said, and Maverick says like it, you know, gives you that little bit of backstory, and I agree with that. But it just seemed like it never like came to fruition. Whatever they were doing there, it seemed like they went to the room and then she breaks away, and that's like it. They don't even go into the underground area or anything. It just seemed like it was kind of blah. It was just kind of nothing. Maverick, what's your worst of for Resident Evil? You already said your best of, I think, was the same as mine.
Yeah. Worst. I had one in mind, but I forgot it. I can't think of it right now.
Was
I
it
should've wrote it down.
how shitty the Doberman zombie looked?
No, I mean I didn't really notice that. Didn't look that bad
Oh
to
man,
me.
that zombie looks so bad to me.
I think it's hard to do zombie dogs.
Yeah.
Really any zombie animal. I mean, like it's hard to make even the human zombies look sort of realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because my thing on zombies is like they're missing half their fucking body, but still like walking.
Yeah.
And like if they're really like decomposing and shit and dead, like they have no muscles or ligaments and shit. I'm like, how the fuck are you moving? Not like physically possible.
Uh-huh.
But then again, it's like a monster movie, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be too anal about it.
All right.
But yeah, I can't. I should have wrote it down, but
Yeah.
I can't think of what my worst stuff was.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for Resident Evil Raccoon City. I make no promises on covering any of these other movies, but maybe one day. Next week, it's my pick, and Maverick already knows what my pick is because I said it earlier. We're watching a movie called Rubber from 2010, which is about a killer tire. So that's pretty cool.
Right?
Which I remember me and my dad, like it was like 11:30 on a random. We were just flipping channels and we came across Tire, or I always call it Tire, but it's called Rubber. And we were watching this like, what the fuck is this? so that's next week. So look forward to that. Yeah. And besides that, go check out the gaming channel. Link down the subscription. Wait. Link down. That's how I get them. They have to hit the sub button to get the link down description. What else is coming out? Some shorts will probably be coming out. Yeah. I think that's about it. Maverick, got anything you'd like to add? It's been a while since you've been on the cast. Any words of wisdom for the people?
Work hard, get money.
Shit.
There we go.
All right. But what if you could not work and get money?
Doesn't work like
Doesn't
that.
work like that? I
Yeah.
wish it did. That'd be lit. All right. Well, we'll see you next week for Rubber.
Getting rough.
I can't remember
The thing
like
your dad should have wore.
wow. I can't even remember like that episode might be like 30 minutes. I can't remember if there's anything to talk about. I mean, I know there is, but there's not like a lot of story in there, I think, so we'll have to sort of wing it on that one. Hopefully the Karen will be back next week. I hope you enjoyed looking at whatever this guy's name is. I forget what his character is. But yeah. All right, see you next week. Rubber. Bye-bye.
Wubbo.